Hey, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of our newest series, which is on self care and just in general mental health as an entrepreneur, which we all know can get a little bit lonely, especially when you're running your company all on your own. So, we wanted to do this kind of 5 week summer series to just head into the fall with some support, some feedback from you guys on what your best self care tips are, and just kind of talk about what's worked for us as we've both been running our businesses for several years now. And hopefully, we'll be able to create a space where we can give advice and also receive advice from you guys as well. For those of you that don't know me, I am Claire Brown, and I am a co founder of this group. And I also run my own freelance marketing business as well. And we have with us Crystal Smith, who is my compadre in all things personal and business. And yeah, so Crystal, this week we're talking about depression and how do you kind of navigate working with depression, because when you run your own business, it's very hard to take mental health days. It's very hard to walk away for a day. And so we thought we'd kind of just dive right in with a kind of a really hearty topic.
Yeah, I'm the poster child. When you think depression, just, picture this Bieber-esque face. Because, yeah, I've struggled very severely and significantly from God, the worst kind of depression, like the deepest, darkest kind that just makes you feel changed at the core of who you are. And it's really been a journey the last year. And I've really had to change my mindset and the way I thought. And, I've had to change my habits to get to a place that's healthier. But I definitely have some good advice if anybody out there is struggling, or if you know somebody that's struggling. These are some techniques that really, really, really helped me. And the first one is a joy journal. I just, some friends of mine, they challenged me to it. They said, look, you need to find the good things in every day. And I literally kept the journal for 8 months where every single day I marked the date and at least one positive thing that really made my heart happy. And when you start collecting that and you go back, you start to kind of get yourself on the right track mentally, because you can remind yourself there are things that can still make me feel good. And as you mentioned, Claire, every single one of us, especially when we're depressed, we're going to make an excuse not to take enough time for ourselves when we're running our business. Whether we're our own boss or we have a boss, we're just not very good at doing that. And I think as women, it might be worse because it's natural for us to be so caring and so giving of our time to other people, and we don't prioritize us. So one of my friends, Paula, she taught me this kind of little trick where you prioritize your week out by the things that are most important and least important, and you decide what you can and can't push off, and that's how you schedule your week out. And she said, always make sure that you have calendar time that's set aside for you. It could be self-care, things that make you feel good, things that help you, right? Maybe it could be, like for Claire, it might be, I'm going to be in the bubble bath drinking wine for an hour. I don't want to be disturbed, right? And for me right now, my new thing is like the gym. I'm going to go get this gym time in, and I'm going to sweat, and I'm just going to feel it and burn it and get it out. And it's going to make me feel good. So you have to make sure that you prioritize yourself. Boundaries with clients, right?
Am I unmuted now?
You're unmuted. I was about to say you looked like you look like one of those Godzilla videos where you were. Are we good now?
Yeah, we're good now.
Okay.
There were some kids playing outside, so I muted it while you were talking. I think, yeah, boundaries is a really important one, because I think especially in business, especially when you're running your own business and you tend to be responsible for delivery and sales and customer service and all of these kinds of pressing things, it's really easy to prioritize everyone else's needs and your client's needs. And sometimes it's hard to say like, okay, I'm not going to answer that text right now. Or it's okay to like step away from my computer for a couple hours because I need to go for a walk in the forest with my dog, or, you know, whatever your version of self-care looks like on any given day. And I think that is it's a hard struggle. It's hard to find boundaries with clients if you work with clients, or if you have a boss, or if you have anyone that you're navigating your work life with. It's hard to set that boundary, but it's so, so important. And I know for me, it's just about practicing setting boundaries, because you're not going to wake up one morning and say, I know how to set boundaries now. It's something that takes practice and learning how to navigate kind of, you know, how do I walk away from my computer, especially when you work from home. I know I work from home often. Crystal, you work from home often. I know a lot of the women in here work from home often. And when you work from home, it's so easy for that line to blur between, okay, well, I could just check this email real quick, or I can just handle this client request really quick. And it is hard. And I think partly just acknowledging that can do a lot of service. It doesn't necessarily mean there has to be advice or there has to be a good solution, but sometimes even just recognizing that I need to have boundaries here, or I need to have time that's carved out for myself. And I think when you're struggling with feelings of depression and or anxiety, I know we're going to get into anxiety a little bit more down the road, but when you're struggling with those, it makes it even harder to kind of set those boundaries or to do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. And when you're running a business at the same time, that can kind of start to snowball. So it's an interesting challenge that we all face. And I think part of this series is just us all showing up for each other and just being in solidarity on that. Because sometimes there's not a solution and sometimes there is, but if we can all just start having a conversation about it. And I think there's this culture in entrepreneurship where you have to kind of hustle and be really busy and work really hard and always be on. And it's become a little bit of a toxic culture where more is more. And we're not really talking about, okay, well, how can I have systems in my business? How can I have efficiencies in my business that allow me time to step away and care for myself? Because it's not really about the hustle, and it never has been. And that's just kind of a trendy marketing term that we've all kind of hopped on that bandwagon.
I think it's a mistake we make when we start, right? Because we're starting and we're trying to get things going and we're 1,000 miles an hour and it takes time to get things in place. But depression is hard to crawl out of because it's pain. It's like if you have a bad back and it hurts so much, you don't go out and do anything. And then the lack of activity makes your body hurt worse. Depression is the emotional equivalent of that. Your brain neurologically is in pain, so much so that we don't want to make the kinds of decisions that we need to make things better. And it was really interesting. Last week I was at a convention and there was a client that was there who's a client of mine, and they have recently went through something similarly as tragic as I did when I lost my brother last year and the way I lost him. And, you know, the client pulled me aside and said, are you taking really good care of yourself? And I said, I think so. And he said, no, I really need to know that you're taking good care of yourself, prioritizing yourself. And I said, well, and he said, as your client, it's in my best interest that you make good decisions about taking care of yourself so that I can keep working with you. And that was so profound to hear somebody say. I mean, a client said that, right? We don't think about that because we're always so concerned about serving our clients, serving our boss, getting along with our coworkers, our families and kids and husbands and wives and second cousins and brothers, neighbors. And, you know, we want to fix everybody else, but we're not as good at doing that for ourselves. We are so good at treating people we love good except for ourselves. Why is it so hard, particularly for women, to treat themselves like somebody they're in love with? we're just not that good at that. Some of us anyway, right?
I would say most of us are in that boat.
Yeah. So it's definitely, it's a mindset shift. I'm constantly trying to learn at it and get better each day. I mean, and I spent well over a year just being a fat pig wallowing in my misery, doing nothing about it. So the point certainly isn't that I have it figured out, because I don't. I just know some things that have worked for me recently that have been successful. And diet is another one. I did get some recommendations from nutritionists, and I will leave some comments that are where we post the video. I'll leave some comments of some types of nutrients and foods and different things that I feel, maybe it's a placebo effect, but I definitely feel like, less sluggish, more energy, just getting up and getting out of the house and sweating a little bit and eating better, along with that mindset shift is, it's making a difference so far.
Yeah, and I think part of it is our goal here is really to open up a dialogue and encourage people to. I think there's kind of this false idea that, I hate the whole like fake it till you make it saying, because it implies that like there's no value in the journey, and it implies that to have a good or quality business you have to be kind of this like perfect being that doesn't have any problems. It's like, oh well, that person struggles with depression, I don't know if I want to work with them, or that person has anxiety, I don't know if they're going to like do a good job. And these are all kind of false things that we've told ourselves about building a business, right? Like, do you walk into the Apple store and say like, I'm not going to buy an iPhone because that employee doesn't seem like he has his life together? But we put so much pressure on small and medium-sized business owners to kind of show up as their most perfect selves at all times to get their businesses off the ground. And that takes a toll. And it's an expectation that we don't really have on any other population except for entrepreneurs. You're going to show up and you're going to look like your best self, or your business doesn't have validity. And it's just not true. And I work with people who are deeply flawed and also deeply awesome at the same time. And those are some of my best collaborations.
Aren't we all?
What?
Aren't we all?
Aren't we? We all are, but we put this very unique kind of perfectionism onto the entrepreneurial journey. And I think we want to create this series as a space to just like get really raw and real.
And I think that pressure of perfection is harder, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases for women, because it's not just the entrepreneurial perfection that you're talking about of, always show up, women, if you're sensitive, she's a whiny, sensitive, you can't be moody, right? You can't, you're this and you're that. Women have so much pressure to look a certain way, to be a certain way. There's so many things that I see that just put so much unrealistic pressure, especially on female entrepreneurs, because it's like, well, damn it, we can't win. We are obviously never going to be perfect, and we're striving to achieve it. And we realize that we can't, but you don't need to. We talked about this when we talked about our series on authenticity. Why are we punishing ourselves? We should be the best versions of ourselves we can be for us. And that's it. I mean, if you go into the office a little bit bitchy, you know what? You're a little bit bitchy, okay?
I don't go into the office any other way.
Oh, well, folks, meet Claire. I mean, there are totally plenty of moments where I get hangry and then I become kind of an asshole, right? Or a hasshole, a hangry asshole, right? And it happens. It happens. Sometimes I get a little moody and I get a little loud and I might say a few things. But
we absolutely deal with bias, right? As like female founders, as women, we do deal with bias. We deal with, what's a bitch to someone, if a woman's saying it, is just assertiveness if you're a man, or you're just very confident, even though it's the same exact sentence.
You can't be confident as a woman, not around
Don't do it.
Again, I don't want to generalize. It's not true in all cases, but it can be very, very hard for, oh yeah.
Well, and we particularly, Crystal and I particularly work in a field, marketing, that can be very much that way. And that's kind of a whole other area that we have to navigate. But I think all of these factors make dealing with depression, while it's something that a lot of people do go through, I think when you're running your own business, it has this very unique element of this kind of self-doubt and questioning and unique struggles that come along with running your own business. And those can oftentimes, when they're co-occurring, make dealing with days where you have severe depression, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling like there's no way out, it can make what is already kind of an emotional roller coaster when you're running your own business feel almost insurmountable. And I think if I'm going to move on to tips, and there's no one size fits all, but I know for me, there are days when it's enough. It's enough that I just like took a shower and responded to all the emails that I needed to respond to and got like the bare minimum done. And I'm going to have other days where I'm going to do 10 times what the bare minimum was. And I'm going to really show up for my business, and I'm really going to show up for my clients. And I think just giving yourself permission to sometimes have those days where you're just going to like maintain. And that's hard when you're being you have an onslaught of all this, like, Gary Vee. I love Gary Vee, but like you constantly have this onslaught of like people telling you like, you got to 10x and you got to do more work than anyone else if you want to get your business off the ground. And I have learned as I've grown my business that sometimes it's okay to have days where you're just maintaining.
It really is. And it's okay to set the boundaries for clients. I have a very close friend, a confidant, and we refer each other business all the time. And she lives up north part of the year. And when she comes down here, she's only down here for a couple months. And once a month we get together. It's on a Friday, which should be a quote unquote work day for our business. And we don't talk to our clients. We tell our clients we are unavailable. There's nothing in our industries that is the kind of emergency that you need an ambulance. You don't need us. And it was very hard for us to go, oh my God, I just got to check my emails. But try to get yourself to that place where you can give yourself that. Don't look at it as I'm taking away from my clients. Look at it as I am giving myself what I need. Think about that. A lot of you have clients that feel the same way. They just didn't say to you what that one client said to me. Just because people don't say it doesn't mean they don't mean it. And I know that goes in positive and negative directions. But, I really believe in more cases than not, it's a positive thing. It's a good thing. People don't know how to communicate that to you. They don't know how to have that conversation. They don't know what to say if they think that you're struggling. So sometimes we have to put a little more weight on our shoulders and manage a little more of it ourselves. And sometimes we have to say, hey, I need you right now because I'm struggling.
Yeah. And I think, I agree with that. And I think that's where knowing when to set a healthy boundary comes in. There's such a thing as you're going to work with toxic people, and knowing when to kind of walk away and when to say this relationship, isn't going to grow my business. It doesn't work in my business. And not every client's going to be understanding. And you're going to have the clients who only come to you when they need something and only come to you when something's wrong. And sometimes when you run your own business, it can feel very like there's not a lot of gratitude, like there's not a lot of people saying thank you. And that's what makes those clients like Crystal's talking about really stand out, because they're why we do it. When those people come and say like, thank you so much, you've changed my business, or you've really helped me, or you've done this in this way, that's what makes it all worth it. But sometimes those can be a little bit in between, and the in between can be filled with, the clients that you have to set a stronger boundary for.
I think that's true in your personal life as well. If you compare
Absolutely.
professional life and your personal life, there's not a ton of difference, except one is the business, and maybe you slap, a suit on and, a little different way that you talk or something. But it's in the real world where people exist, right? Very fallible, imperfect people, which is all of us. That's the constant that you'll get. You will be overworked and underappreciated for most of your life, at least your adult life. Like that's kind of how it is. And we have to make sure, especially as women, that we are appreciating ourselves and that we are giving ourselves thanks and the things that we need, because people in the world don't always know how to do things, and some of them don't care, and some of them just suck.
And I think showing up for each other, part of what we want this series to be about and what we want this group to be about is just showing up for each other, and having, all of our journeys are different, but we do have similar struggles in that we're all women, so we deal with that to begin with. And we're all running our own businesses. If you're in this group, you own your own business. It's the Female Founders Society. Or you manage a business, or you are showing up in some kind of way that puts you responsible for the success of that business. And with that comes unique responsibilities. And I think being able to have open and honest conversations about what mental health looks like when you are also carrying that responsibility on your shoulders is going to, personally, has been a really good thing for me. When I've had people in my life I can discuss things like that with. And I think that's what we hope this to be too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the goal, is
get a dialogue going.
Yeah. The things, this 5-week series that we have mapped out is, not all the topics are completely comfortable. It's not easy to say, hey, I'm really depressed in a bad, deep, dark way. I mean, it's not easy to say I have severe anxiety and I struggle to leave the house. It's not easy to say I'm extremely insecure and doubt myself. It's not easy to, to stay motivated, to stay, hey, I'm doing a good job there, Junior. None of these things are easy, but that's why Claire and I felt like it was so important to talk about it and make sure that this group was a safe space and really an educational space, because, I'm really hoping that people will come out with their stories and their tactics and their techniques and, ask questions and share information, because this is super important, because we're only ever going to have one mind. That's all we get. I got two ears and 2 eyes, but I only got one brain, and not even half of that works. So I can't lose it. Y'all can't lose it.
It's precious.
It's something. Precious. I got a little Gollum with my brain.
Yeah. And I think, and I just want to say too, like nothing you share will leave this space. None of your comments, nothing you say, like nobody's going to screenshot it. Like this is a space where anything you say in this space will stay in this space. And we expect the same courtesy for you guys as well, because we're really sharing our own experiences. Crystal and I are sharing our own experiences as well. And so I think there is power in kind of just being released to say what you want to say, knowing that like your clients aren't here, your family's not here, your business isn't here. And it's just a space to talk about the realness that is running your own business in 2019, because it takes a lot of grit and it takes a lot of perseverance, and that can be emotionally draining, and we need places that we can go to kind of fill that cup back up. And also sometimes you just need someone to say like, your feelings are valid. Maybe they can't fix it, maybe they don't have advice, but just to say like how you're feeling is real and other people feel that way. And it's easy to get kind of lost in Instagram and Facebook, and looks like everybody's crushing it.
It's a lie.
They're not, or maybe they are, but that was everyone deals with their own crap.
Yeah. It's a lie. Every one of us, I don't post pictures every day on Facebook that I have a fight with my wife, and I think she might stab me in the throat later today. Like, I don't, I'm just not one of those dirty laundry hanger-upper peoples, But there is absolutely, I do not have a perfect life. I am not happy all the time. I have plenty of flaws. I have plenty of issues and things. We're all just like everybody else. Don't let all that bullshit make you feel insignificant. And don't let anybody make you feel that your feelings are invalid because you're a woman and you have a bunch of emotions. That's bullshit too. So we're just
the best.
We're going to get rid of that. And we're going to fill our cup up with positivity and maybe some wine, but not too much wine. Because we don't want to encourage unhealthy
behaviors
in dealing with things in this group.
And we want to hear from you guys. I think this series is going to be really organic. I'll be totally honest, we don't have a big plan for it. Like we haven't like mapped out all the sessions. We have some really awesome guests coming on. People who are in this group who have specific areas of expertise when it comes to mental health and managing your business. So I'm really excited for that. I think you're going to get some amazing tips. Next week we have an amazing woman named Carol, who is going to come on and talk to us about motivation and organization and all these cool things that can help you kind of feel a little bit more balanced in your business, which I think can also help when you're dealing with overwhelming feelings of depression or anxiety or insecurity. Sometimes putting systems in place in your business to get kind of really practical can help you deal a little bit better with those hard days. Because you're set up to handle it. You're set up to walk away from your business for a minute and take a breath. And when you have those systems in place, it allows you the opportunity to do that. And that's something that it took me quite a while to get set up in my business. So I'm excited for that. And if you have something you want to contribute, or you think you have some really good tips, or you just want to share your story, we really do encourage video in here. Like, you want to go live in here, go live. You want to submit a video, submit a video. You want to submit a post, submit a post. Like, we want to hear from you too.
Yeah.
So this is an ongoing conversation, and don't think you have to wait till Wednesday nights or Wednesday afternoons to have this conversation.
You guys can do that anytime. I was just going to tease Judy and ask Judy to make a video because she's always complaining and I don't know how to make these things. I didn't grow up with technology. I love you, Judy.
Judy, Crystal called you out.
But you're adorable when you need help with stuff, and I think it's cute.
She's going to love it.
I need help with lots of stuff. Trust me.
We all do.
Yeah. I need help with this puppy right now who's chewing the crap out of my hands while I'm trying to record this video.
This is the glamour. This is the behind-the-scenes glamour that you're getting.
Behind the scenes, yeah, working from home as I have cats on my keyboards as I type and animals whirring around like this Tasmanian devil puppy that I'm pretty sure is half honey badger who's trying to destroy my pillows as we speak.
Proof or it didn't happen.
Yeah. No, it's, yeah. Send your, by the way, a great tip for mental health for anyone who was insane enough to go out and get a puppy like I was, never again. Find a friend with a dog that your dog plays along with and send it away for like a night. Just like a child. Just give yourself
a break.
Give yourself a break from whatever it is you need to get a break from. The kids, the animals, the husband, the cousin, the mother-in-law that lives in your guest house, whatever it is. Give yourself that break. Put it on the calendar.
Yeah, and I think, Crystal makes a really good point, scheduling that time in, because when you do work for yourself or work from home or run your own business or any of those things that come along with that, it is easy to kind of push that off. Like, okay, I was going to do self-care tonight, but I'm pushing it off because this client wants to meet with me. Or I'm pushing it off because I realized I forgot to do that thing I was supposed to do 2 days ago. So I do think it's important to put that on your calendar and honor it. And that's easier said than done, I realize. But if you can try to do that, that can help a lot.
Yeah, and you are really, really, really important. because each one of us plays a role in the lives of so many people. I mean, the people around us, the people related to our friends, our clients, our family, we affect so many people. And, I don't have human children, right? Just animals. So I know for some of you, you're thinking, I can't do that, ladies. I don't have the time, but you are important enough that you need to make the time for yourself. What is it that you have to give up to give yourself? Is it an hour a day or a half a day a week or a full day? What are you going to give yourself to prioritize your mental health? And, it's just like budgeting. Well, if I give up Starbucks, right, $6 a day, I get this. What do? You give up half an hour of reading time or an hour of gaming time or less TV time? I'm sure in the hierarchy of things that you do in your free time, there can't be a lot of things that are more important than you and your well-being. And if you think that way, you're wrong, because there's not, right? I mean, your spouses, your children, your animals, they need the best version of you, right? Just like it circles back to what that client says, you owe everybody that you love you being well and you. So you deserve it, and you owe it to everybody that you care about to make that time for yourself and make that happen.
Well, I think too, to clarify, what Crystal's saying is absolutely correct, but to clarify, we're not talking about a spa day. Like, you're a business owner. Like for me, it was taking a half an hour lunch break every day.
It could be a spa day. It's
because I wasn't doing that, right? Like I used to do that at work because I was on like the company dollar. And so hell yeah, I was going to peace out and take my lunch break.
Yeah.
But when you work for yourself, sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, I can just get this, I can get these 5 more things done.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be as simple as like, I'm going to take these 20 minutes. I'm going to go sit outside on my patio in the sunshine. And I'm going to like eat this salad and drink this LaCroix, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to just sit here and not talk to anybody for 20 minutes. So, it can be as big or as small, but it's just finding that time and making it. And it can be something really simple like that can make a huge difference.
Really can make a huge difference. I mean, I write a lot. I like to read, especially if I feel frustrated in any way, frustrated. Video games are a fun outlet. You can get a lot of, frustration out in those. Everybody's got their things, but, it's really easy to say, I can easily lose 45 minutes of time. I was going to do something else in the morning to go to the gym. Right? I just, sleep in a little less, 30 minutes less sleep. That's okay. It's actually better this way. So, make yourself that priority list of stuff, things that have to be done, things that aren't as important, and then put that same list together of what gives you joy, what makes you happy. And, keep that joy journal. That did a world of difference for me, to really go back and say, these are the things that sparked joy for me regularly.
I love it.
Not be on it today, I can tell you that.
I love it, love it, love it. So we want to hear from you guys this week, in the comments on this video, or upload your own video, or do whatever you want, really. Just join the conversation. And we're going to this is going to keep evolving, and we want feedback. And I'm really, really excited to go on this journey with all of you and to see where it goes.
Boom.
And you can always, 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 always private message us. If you're not comfortable putting it in the group and you want to talk to somebody, we're here.
Yep, for sure.
I will say that we are not licensed professionals. This is in no way medical advice. And I always encourage people to, everyone should have a licensed therapist. They're amazing. They do great work. I think we all benefit from that. This is just us speaking from, our own experiences, and hoping that even just acknowledging that this is a thing will maybe put some good out into the world.
Yeah, I can't give you Prozac. I mean, Zoloft is working for me, but I can't slip you some Zoloft under the table. But
A small disclaimer.
I can listen if that's what you need. But yeah, little caveat there.
Any other thoughts, Crystal?
No, I think we got a lot of thoughts out on this one.
Yeah, we went a little bit all over the place, guys. I know. I think future ones will, we're going to be pretty topic specific, and we are having guests on. But I do like that we were able to kind of just get really real with you guys and let you know what this series is going to be about.
Yeah.
It's going to be really unscripted, and we're looking forward to hearing your feedback on it.
Yep.
So thank you so much. We'll see you guys this week as you show up in the comments and the posts, and we will show up for you as well. And we'll be coming at you next week with an awesome special guest.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Peace.
Peace.